Continuing on this Sabbath day, in the middle of the Feast of Tabernacles, talking about prophecy, and we left off in Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, "And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked." So, religion, because we talked about what the whore is, right? Religion. False religion. This is why God puts it in their mind to destroy it. They work in our time to destroy religion. It's the, how can I put it? It's the structure of people's beliefs. All the heads of the beasts that we went over, all these pagan empires believed in false gods. They worshipped false gods, and they were away from God in doing so. When we talk about this woman, what she embodies, the false religious understanding of people in all these empires throughout time, which is fornication and adultery against God. So what does these 10 horns do in the end? Well, we live in a very, very different world today from times gone by. And a little bit of history goes a long way when you understand how these empires were and what they believed in. You need to know a little bit about that to understand prophecy. Otherwise, you have no clue. Like we've been talking about, of course, they worshipped false gods and believed in false gods and had all kinds of pagan rites. And they worshipped the sun, moon, and stars, which God forbids. And a lot of their false gods came from this worship, because Satan took a third of the angelic realm with him, which are stars, and cast them to earth. These are spirit powers. Now, these are the kingdoms that have gone on. Now, but in this last time, these 10 horns, why is this different? Because in our day, the main thing that destroys people's religious structure is something called science. And there are great, great lies in science. Now, there's nothing wrong with science, and if it's true, and you want to work out an experiment and you prove something, and there's certain methods to doing that. But most of what this world thinks is scientific is filled with great lies in the end time. And you go to school at a young age and you are brainwashed from the time you are very young to believe these lies. And before you have an opportunity to think, you're taken away from your parents at a very young age, and they're off busy working, having no clue, trying to survive. And you go into an indoctrination factory called a school, and you get taught all kinds of lies. And the teachers don't even know because they're lost too. So it is science, the sciences of this world, that the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. They're not following God's ways. This structure in our time is breaking down religion, and it's raising up the image of the beast. And this is done by lies about the very creation of God. Now, God created the heavens and the earth, and believe it or not, He did not create the world as you've been taught in your schools. The earth is dry land that He's brought out of water. There is no such thing as space as you've been taught to believe. But this is part of building the image, because you have the image in your very mind. You have an image of space because from a child you've been shown images which are false. You've watched movies, Star Wars, you've watched shows, Star Trek, you've watched all sorts of movies and television shows about space. You've seen all sorts of fake CGI computer graphic images of a Freemasons landing and playing golf on the moon, which is all part of building up this image in your mind to change the world. And we see here that the 10 horns which you saw in the beast, he shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate. So it's literally making religion, it's destroying, breaking down religion and building up something else, little by little, over the years, over the course of this last generation. And it says, shall make her desolate, naked, it shall eat her flesh. So what does this mean, the 10 horns eat her flesh? Well, we are told that we eat from Christ. We eat from him, meaning he feeds his people. Jesus Christ feeds his people. Okay? We talked about that, how you cannot eat from the table of the Lord and the table of devils. So Jesus Christ said, my body is food, right? And he was not saying, we're going to be cannibals, of course, but this is a picture of being spiritually fed from him, being in unity with him, being tied to the vine. But these 10 horns, they eat her flesh. So what are the practices of Babylon, the ancient mystery religions? They eat from this. They get spiritually fed from this. Well, they are demonic practices, just like we've gone over. So they eat from her, yet they break down the religions of the world by lies and deception. So the people in power literally do worship devils, as always in the pagan religions, and they sacrifice to demons, and they are Kabbalists and Gnostics and devil worshippers, basically. And that is what it means, that they eat her flesh, because they do believe lies as well. But they work to burn her with fire. So outwardly, this is taught. They break down religion and they raise up the sciences. And the sciences are filled with lies, like we've just been talking about. Now, why is the beast in Revelation 13 mentioned separately? Notice, it does not have this woman riding it, but it is a separate system that destroys this woman. This is all part of God's plan. He wields the power. The Almighty wields the power. He uses this last head of the beast to destroy Babylon, to destroy confusion. But it's actually done with this other system that develops, which is also lies. That is why, in the end, this system also has to do with the mark of the beast, because it has to do with what you believe. Do you believe God and his word, or are you going to believe this system when it comes? Because I tell you, this system comes with tremendous power behind it. It is the sixth trumpet in the book of Revelation. And the sixth trumpet, 4 angels are released. Mankind has never experienced this in this time, this kind of power being released all at once. And this is why there is a falling away, that those who are not on the rock will fall away from Christianity when it comes, because their pagan belief structure, their whole system of belief will be broken down by it. We see in Revelation 9 this is why the image of space is being built up in our time. This is why we have the image of the earth being a ball floating in space, which are all false images. This is not the creation of God. And this is not understood yet by many. There are many people waking up to this understanding about God's true creation, where we are, what's going on. But the world and Christianity is still filled with great lies and follows the beast right into the ditch. God created this earth, Genesis chapter 1. There was nothing but water. Nothing but water. There was no space. There was no planets, rocks. This whole thing has to do with a lie of a materialistic creation. And it is the creation of Satan, not the way God created the world. We see in Genesis that God brought dry land out of water. Before he did that, he separated the water so that there is water beneath and a space called the firmament, and then water above that. And out of the water beneath the firmament, he brought dry land. And in the firmament above, he put the sun, moon, and stars, which are right above us, close. There is no such thing as space. There is no such thing as outer space. There is no such thing as physical rocks floating in space. Everything you see in the sky above are lights that God put in the firmament for earth, and they are for times and seasons and signs to give light on the earth. And man has been deceived in our time to not understand the very creation of God. That's how bad it is in the end time. That's the kind of power that Satan has to deceive in the end time. Because all those who do not love the truth will believe great lies in the end. Part of those lies have to do with demonic beings, spiritual powers masquerading as so-called aliens from other places far, far away. And people believe all this because they are not following God, and they don't understand that there is demons and fallen angels and Satan and the power he has to deceive, especially in the end time. And they don't understand Revelation chapter 9 either. spiritual warfare, as I mentioned. Our war is not against flesh and blood, but against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age. And we see the sixth trumpet, Revelation 9, verse 13. The sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, Loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour. Now let's stop there. Let's go back to Revelation 17 for a sec. Revelation 17 verse 13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength to the beast. Revelation chapter 17 verse 12, and the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So these angels being released is part of this hour. It is also part of the hour that comes on the world. We read in Revelation chapter 3. The angel of the church of Philadelphia, write these things, said he that is holy, he that is true, he that has the key of David, he that opens and no man shuts, and shuts and no man opens. I know your works. Behold, I've set before you an open door, and no man can shut it. For you have a little strength, and have kept my word, and have not denied my name. You have kept my word, and not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of a synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Because you have kept my word of patience, I will also keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come on all the world to try them that dwell on the earth. Behold, I come quickly. This is the hour spoken of, the sixth trumpet. This is when Christianity, what this world knows as Christianity, not God's true spiritual body, but the paganized Christianity, will be crushed. People will be lost, and they will follow a deception that this world that is not ready for. Traditional Christianity will go through fiery trial, spiritual deception. People will fall away from Jesus Christ in that day because of what comes with the sixth trumpet. It says that the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of horsemen were 200,000. I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, by the smoke, and the brimstone which issued out of their mouth. A third part of men. You know that a third part of this world is so-called Christian. Look it up. That's what it says. Basically, the religion of Christianity, all the denominational religion, the religious of the world who call themselves Christian, makes up a third part of the population of this earth. By these three was a third part of men killed. This has to do with the falling away that comes before Jesus Christ returns. before this earth is destroyed by fire. The power is in their mouth, lies, and in their tails. For their tails were like to serpents, and he had heads, and they had heads, and with them they do hurt. Fifth and sixth trumpet, serpents and scorpions. Serpents and scorpions. What did Jesus Christ say to his servants? Luke chapter 10. Luke chapter 10, verse, let's see here. Let's start in verse 17. And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject to us through your name. And he said to them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Behold, I give you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. And nothing shall by any means hurt you. Notwithstanding in this rejoice, not that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice, because your names are written in heaven. We shall continue this.